Wena musukumkhumshela fusekho sibona lesiketa ngisho yini lithi ngiyaflikisha buya la buya wena uthi ungakwenzini ngizokwenza nyene lento efunayo ngisho ugqoka komakuswayini yaqwayiza wena buya la.
My name is Zimkitha Kumbaca. I am currently the director of Return of the Ancestors, which was written by Mike Van Graan. It's a 2014 script. It revolves around, two struggle, heroes, but also human beings, young people in South Africa at the time who were detained for fighting for what they believed was right, for fighting for their voices to be heard, for really activating themselves and the others around them to do what's right for themselves and the community at large. So that is Bantu Steve Mbiko as well as O'Neill Agate. So then you have these two icons coming back to check up on the country, to see if what they died for, what they sacrificed, is worth it. What did we do with our freedom? What did we do with this sort of, abundance of rights that we now possess in our hands? This money. A play that has very interesting scenarios about different circumstances and realities of, South African people, whether they be politicians or ordinary citizens, that make up the country. So what we have right now is this lighting up the clothes. Namhla will attest when I say that I call them bogogo nabomkhulu, that up there, but also down here it's very significant, the clothes that are here that are also lit. None of the clothes that are the people that are up here are taken lightly. We're just portraying the people that we see day to day, the structures that keep South Africa going. Whether it's your SAPS, people call to order, whether it's our economy, being handled by the miners, unionists, and those who own the mines, and then you have the suits, the people who are hustling, but also the babas. You have the shirts, the young people, basically, but also, the women, the tourists. So this set is really much, around that. We love stripping the theater bare because that's when we know we will tell an honest story. You need to be honest and you need to leave nothing. The performance that I had played with that idea. It's very important to have artists, storytellers that can trust you. I mean, working with Nolthando Lobese as well as Unamhlaplo and Mandla Mkaba has been an experience of note. But working with Katlego Charlie and Tsepo Segiso, I love how they always threw themselves into the work. I didn't have to, and they had questions, but you shouldn't be stubborn. You must give answers. You must also ask yourself why you did that, Because the minute, and I've been through these things, the minute they don't trust you, they won't be able to carry through the story and tell it, and find the depth in the story, find things that you even didn't think of, But I also know when it's time to let the recreator recreate some more things, that I would not even think about. It's important to let that flourish. Otherwise, what's the point? You might as well perform it yourself. So those are things that, I had to bear in mind when working with them. But the most important thing is to be trusted. That's the kind of performers I like working with. People who like exploring, investigating, experimenting. Sunset, your action, your hand gestures will be a little bit bigger. So even so, and then your head, you can turn it from side to side because it kind of enlarges and elongates and yeah.
As you can see for yourself, the black Twitter streets have been quite busy. The first hashtag goes as follows:
Oh, very insightful.
What was it about this play that grabbed you and made you definitely commit to directing it?
We're missing stories that are documenting what's happening right now. And the struggle about talking about what's happening right now is that a lot of people want to censor themselves. A lot of creators censor, the work put out there in terms of writing.
Why?
With this, sorry?
Why do they do that, do you think?
Well, definitely you do not want to be, outcasted, sidelined.
Okay.
You do want to be booked for gigs. You do not want to step on the wrong toes because, again, arts is a very, fickle industry, as also in terms of funding as well.
Sure.
So that is a very a real thing, and I don't even want to shy away from that because that's exactly why a lot of people don't write. There have been a few who have, but it's not a genre that people just dive into, And so also with the play, in terms of my interpretation too, I try to give some sort of a guideline, because again, the question is, where do we start? It's always where do we start? And that's where, Steve Biko and Neil Agate are so important to follow them through because they were 28 and 30 when they decided to do something about their lives.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting on 32 and I'm figuring out what have I done?
Yeah.
On the count of 3, I take out my thing and you take out your thing. 1, 2.
It's definitely from an artistic point of view, beautiful play in terms of, talking about current issues and not leaving today for tomorrow, for people from tomorrow to tell the story.
I like that. Yeah.
Being able to tell it right now as it's happening. And you will receive backlash from time to time. But hey, who better to tell the story than the people that are going through it,
Sure.
So that we can tell it as realistically and as authentically as possible, and not leave any loopholes. Because I don't want to be a story that is there, that's somebody else's story. I need it to be everybody's story so that you don't feel excluded from what's happening, so that it becomes, again, that touchy subject that's too close to home.
Well, I've got a bit of English in my pedigree. So it's okay to have an English dog but not an African human being. Oh, now you're thinking like an African. Always the poor bloody victim, isn't it? You know what? I don't even know why I'm bothered in having a conversation with you. I can't even say I was happy to meet you, whatever your name is. Oh, well, the commandos call me Biko, after one of their heroes. Go and die.
We're in this together, right? And now we are coming up with solutions. We're calling each other out and saying, yo, don't do this. Let's talk. We're that generation now that says suicide is not okay. To let people go through depression alone is not okay. Let's try and help each other where we can. We are those people currently. With that generation, that's why I feel like this generation has a lot to do and will make things happen. Not just for today, but for tomorrow and whatever's coming. Down doo doo, down doo doo doo, down dee doo down dee doo. Freedom will pay, freedom will pay, freedom will pay me soon. Down dee doo down doo doo dee doo. Freedom will pay, freedom will pay, freedom will pay me soon.